Welcome to Week 3 of our BIM Heroes CPD Learning Program on Business Development for AEC. We'll be reviewing articles provided by leaders in our community.
And this week, we're diving into something really foundational.
Yeah, we're looking at building a personal or company brand, specifically in the AEC industry.
Absolutely. And nowadays, having a strong brand isn't really optional anymore, is it?
No, not at all. It's pretty essential if you want to stand out. It helps you communicate your value, what you actually bring.
And builds trust. That's huge. With clients, partners, even your own employees.
And there's a flip side, too. A poor brand, or maybe no real brand recognition, that can hold you back.
Definitely. You might miss out on opportunities simply because people don't know who you are. Or you could face reputational damage.
Yeah, and internally, too. It can affect morale, make it harder to attract good people.
And even impact your pricing power. How it connects.
So today we're going through insights from various experts on different parts of brand building.
And we've also got a really interesting piece looking at the role of emotions in all this, which often gets overlooked.
Right. And just a quick reminder for everyone in the BIM Heroes CPD program, remember that reading the articles, commenting, engaging with this content, it all counts towards your CPD certificate.
Plus, there were the Earn While You Learn rewards for BIM Heroes members, too.
Okay, let's jump in. Where should we start?
Now, let's kick off with the first article. It's from Russ Monrose called Importance of Personal Branding in AEC Becoming a Trusted Advisor.
Okay, trusted advisor. That sounds like more than just being a salesperson.
Exactly. Russ talks about how sales account managers can kind of level up, moving beyond just, basic sales.
So it's about deepening the relationship, providing more value.
Precisely. Becoming a source of expert insights.
Yes.
But he stresses this isn't a quick fix.
I bet. It sounds like it requires a real investment.
It does. Patience, definitely. And a lot of knowledge and research. You need to really, really understand the client's business.
Not just what they buy from you, but their whole industry, the market forces.
Yeah, the bigger picture. And he talks about being proactive in solving problems, like anticipating needs before they even ask.
He mentioned something about personalized technology days.
That's right, yeah. As a way to offer tailored solutions proactively. It's about focusing on long-term value, not just the quick win.
Building relationships for, mutual success.
Exactly. And becoming a knowledge resource, sharing research, best practices, innovative ideas.
And it has to be authentic, right? Based on honesty, empathy.
Absolutely. Transparency, active listening, all that is key. Plus taking ownership, being accountable for the client's success.
He even mentions challenging the client's thinking sometimes.
Yeah, gently, Presenting new perspectives to spark innovation, not just agreeing with everything.
And underpinning it all is just delivering consistently. Reliability.
That's the foundation. Russ also lists some key personal traits: empathy, credibility, integrity.
Active listening, we mentioned that. Problem-solving mindset.
Proactivity, accountability, patience that comes up again, confidence but not arrogance, and that long-term view.
So the main takeaway is shifting from just selling to really adding value, building trust, and offering strategic insights.
That's the core idea. Deeper relationships, lasting trust.
Okay, let's move to the second piece, also by Russ Monrose. This one's creating an online presence and digital identity through ABM.
Right, ABM, account-based marketing.
Some people might know the term, but maybe give us a quick rundown. How does it relate to branding?
Sure. So ABM is basically a very targeted strategy. Instead of casting a wide net, you focus your marketing and sales efforts on specific high-value clients or accounts.
Okay, so it's really personalized.
Highly personalized. You tailor your content, your outreach, everything to those specific accounts. And that, directly impacts how those key clients see your brand.
Makes sense. So what are the big advantages of using ABM, especially in AEC?
Well, Russ points out several. That enhanced personalization is a big one, speaking directly to their needs.
Which probably makes your message more effective.
Exactly. And it means greater efficiency. You're focusing your time and money where it counts most on those high potential accounts.
Right, better resource allocation.
Yeah. And because marketing and sales are working so closely together in ABM, you often find the sales cycle speeds up.
Oh, interesting.
Plus, by building those deeper relationships, you're more likely to keep those clients happy and find opportunities to, cross-sell or upsell.
Better retention and growth within accounts.
Precisely. And another key benefit is that ABM is usually quite measurable. You can really track what's working.
And how does all this boost the brand itself?
Well, by doing ABM well, you position yourself as that trusted advisor we were just talking about, specifically in the eyes of your most valuable clients. It enhances your reputation.
So if you're doing ABM, how do you know if it's working? What should you be measuring?
Good question. Russ outlines a few key metrics. First, there's account coverage.
Meaning?
Basically, how well have you penetrated that target company? How many contacts do you have? How senior are they? How often are you interacting?
Okay, so your reach within the account.
Right. Then there's brand awareness within that account.
Yeah.
Do they actually understand what you offer? You might measure this through demo requests, email engagement, things like that.
And actual engagement levels must be important too.
Hugely important. Account engagement measures their interest, their enthusiasm. Are they taking your calls, coming to meetings, interacting on social media? Are they introducing you to others?
And Russ mentioned something about faster sales cycles for engaged accounts.
Yeah, he notes there's often a strong correlation there. Highly engaged accounts tend to move faster.
Makes sense. Any other metrics?
Operational performance. So how efficient are you at finding and converting leads? Things like speed to first contact, conversion rates, deal value.
But the key is tailoring these metrics, right?
Absolutely. Tailor them to your specific needs so you get actionable insights. The big picture with ABM is building deeper relationships, making marketing and sales more efficient, and driving that long-term growth through personalization.
Got it. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Article 3 is by Natasha Prinsloo, Developing a Brand Voice and Messaging for AEC Professionals. This sounds more about the how of communication.
It is. Natasha really focuses on the personality of your brand. Your brand voice, she explains, is that unique personality and tone that comes across in everything you do and say.
And it should reflect your company values.
Ideally, yes. It should be consistent with who you are. And then messaging is about getting your key points across clearly and effectively.
So what makes a brand voice strong? What are the key ingredients?
Natasha highlights a few things. Consistency is vital, sounding like you everywhere.
Yeah.
Authenticity, being genuine. Clarity, making sure people understand you easily.
Personality too, right? Not being robotic.
Definitely. Injecting personality makes you more relatable. Flexibility is also important, adapting your tone slightly for different situations or audiences, but still being you.
And empathy. Understanding the audience.
Crucial. Showing you understand their perspective. And often, a strong voice connects to a purpose, a reason why you do what you do.
Okay, so that's the voice. What about crafting the actual messages?
Key steps there are. Really know your audience. Who are you talking to? What do they care about? Then define your unique selling proposition, your USP, what makes you different.
We'll come back to UVPs later, I think.
We will. Based on your USP, you develop your key messages. And importantly, have a strong visual identity that matches your words.
Natasha gives some examples of strong AEC brand voices, doesn't she?
Yeah, really good ones. She mentions Foster Plus partners. Their voice often feels sophisticated, futuristic, very focused on sustainability.
You can kind of picture that.
Right. Then there's Bjark Engel's group, Big. Their voice often comes across as more playful, optimistic, very human-centered.
A different feel entirely.
Completely. And Gensler, she notes, often emphasizes collaboration, innovation, and being very client-focused in their communications.
So different firms, different personalities. She also gives tips for professionals, right?
Yes, practical stuff, things like networking strategically online and offline, creating high-quality content like blogs or white papers, developing strong communication skills, speaking, writing, listening.
Building your online presence is key too. LinkedIn, maybe a personal website.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And seeking out mentorship or sponsorship can also help shape your professional brand and voice.
So the takeaway is that getting your voice and messaging right helps you stand out, connect with clients, and build lasting relationships. It's about showing your values and commitment.
Exactly. While being flexible and empathetic, it's a powerful combination.
Okay, next up, Article 4. This one's from ALShimaa Allam, Crafting Your Unique Value Proposition.
You mentioned this links to Natasha's point.
It really does. ALShimaa dives deep into the UVP, or USP as it's sometimes called. She defines it as that clear, concise statement.
That tells your audience exactly why they should choose you, what unique benefits you offer.
Precisely. It's designed to convince them you're the right choice over the competition.
And why is this so crucial, especially in AEC? Well, ALShimaa lays it out. It's fundamental for differentiation how you stand out. It clearly communicates your benefits, shapes your whole brand identity.
And presumably impacts sales.
Directly influences conversions and sales. Absolutely. It helps position you in the market and, done well, builds customer loyalty over time.
So how do you actually create one? What's the process?
ALShimaa outlines clear steps. First, you absolutely have to understand your target audience deeply.
Demographics, psychographics, like their attitudes and values.
Yes, their behaviors, their needs, where they hang out online, what they already know about competitors. She really emphasizes creating buyer personas.
Like detailed profiles of your ideal client.
Exactly. Step 2 is knowing your competitors inside out.
Who are they? What do they offer? Strengths, weaknesses.
All of that. Analyzing their offerings, checking customer reviews, their pricing. She recommends doing a SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats for each competitor.
Okay, so understand the audience, understand the competition.
Sure.
Then what?
Then you need to look inward. Identify what makes you unique. What are your real strengths, unique features, quality advantages, your customer service approach?
Maybe a specific niche you serve, or your brand personality, social responsibility.
Any of those things. And again, she suggests doing a SWOT analysis, but this time on your own brand. Be honest about your weaknesses too.
Right. Once you've done all that homework, then you write the UVP statement.
Yes. And the key here is clarity and conciseness. Keep it simple. Focus on the core value. Cut out the jargon.
Emphasize the customer benefit, not just your features.
Absolutely. Use powerful language. Think about where we'll be seen, website, ad, etc. Test it out to make sure people get it. And aim for something memorable and repeatable.
And once you have it, use it everywhere, right?
Consistency is key. Website, social media, emails, content, even product development and event messaging. It should be threaded through everything.
ALShimaa includes some famous examples too.
Yeah, like Apple's Think Different, appealing to creatives who value innovation, or Amazon's Earth's most customer-centric company, focusing on service and selection.
And Uber's the smartest way to get around, highlighting convenience.
Exactly. They clearly communicate a core benefit. So the big takeaway, a strong UVP differentiates you, clearly spells out your value, and builds that crucial trust and belief in your brand.
Makes perfect sense. Let's move to Article 5, Leveraging Social Media and Digital Platforms for Brand Visibility by Ian Rogers, a huge topic.
Absolutely massive. Ian really stresses how critical social media and the digital platforms are now for just getting seen, for building brand visibility.
It's where people are, right? So you need to be there too.
Pretty much. It's how you connect, get recognized, and actually engage with your audience today.
So what are the key ways Ian suggests using these platforms effectively?
Well, first, developing a strong social media presence. That means having that consistent brand voice we talked about.
Being authentic.
Right? Posting regularly and strategically. Using visuals effectively, images, video,
Yeah.
and really engaging with your audience. It's two-way communication, not just broadcasting.
And tailoring content to different platforms, like LinkedIn versus Instagram.
Definitely. What works on one might not work on another. He also emphasizes content marketing and storytelling.
Creating valuable stuff like blog posts, telling compelling stories about your work or values.
Exactly. Repurposing content is smart too, taking one piece and adapting it for different channels, creating evergreen content that stays relevant. He mentions Flexiday as an example of sharing topical insights effectively.
What about influencer marketing? Is that relevant for AEC?
It can be, yeah. Partnering with relevant influencers who have credibility in your niche. Authentic partnerships are key, though. Affiliate marketing is another possibility.
And then there's the technical side, SEO and paid ads.
Can't ignore those. Good SEO strategies, keywords, metadata help you get found organically. And targeted PPC advertising on Google or social media can give you a boost. Remarketing too, reaching people who've already shown interest.
He also talks about building online communities.
Yeah, things like webinars, maybe exclusive Facebook or Discord groups. Encouraging user-generated content. Building a space for interaction can create really strong loyalty. Using gamification sometimes. And underlying all this is tracking results.
Yeah.
Right. Analytics, absolutely crucial. Tracking your KPIs, maybe doing A/B testing on different approaches, using the analytics tools platforms provide, making data-driven decisions.
So if you do all this well, what are the expected results?
Ian lists several. Definitely increase brand awareness, enhance customer engagement, better lead generation and conversion.
Stronger customer loyalty. You mentioned Flexideo's alliances contributing here.
Yes, building credibility through partnerships, and ultimately an improved ROI on your marketing spend.
He also brings up an interesting angle with DAO's distributed autonomous organizations.
Yeah, it's a fascinating synergy. How social media can help DAOs build community, attract contributors or investors, encourage user content, support their decentralized governance.
Expand their reach globally, facilitate partnerships. He mentions Flexideo again here.
Yes, highlighting their public partnerships and their pioneering role in energy tracking, working with big companies. He uses a case study of a renewable energy DAO, leveraging social media successfully.
So the core message is, strategic use of digital and social is essential for visibility, engagement, and growth. And it's even transforming newer organizational models like DAOs.
That sums it up well. It's fundamental in today's world.
Okay, Article 6 takes us in a slightly different, maybe unexpected direction. It's the role of emotions in business decisions, development, and growth by Ralph Montague.
Yeah, this was really thought-provoking. Ralph highlights something we often gloss over in business, the powerful influence of emotions.
Especially in areas like sales, marketing, branding within AEC.
Exactly. We tend to think business decisions are purely rational, logical.
But they're often not, are they?
Not entirely. Emotions play a huge, often subconscious role. Ralph introduces Plutchik's Wheel of Emotions as a tool to help us understand this better.
The Wheel of Emotions, can you unpack that a bit?
Sure. It's basically a model that maps out different emotions. It usually shows core emotions like joy, sadness, fear, anger, surprise, disgust in the center.
Okay, the basic building blocks.
Right. And then radiating outwards, you get secondary emotions, which are often blends or variations like optimism being a mix of anticipation and joy, perhaps, and then even more nuanced tertiary emotions further out.
So it helps visualize the complexity and relationships between feelings.
Exactly. It gives us a language and a framework to identify and talk about emotional experiences, which is often hard to do.
Interesting. So how do these core emotions, according to Ralph, influence buying behavior? Let's take happiness.
Okay, happiness, feelings like joy, excitement, contentment. These can obviously foster satisfaction, build trust, encourage loyalty. Marketing often tries to tap into this with aspirational messages or creating really positive experiences.
Makes sense. What about fear? Anxiety, worry.
Fear is a powerful motivator. It can drive people to act to avoid risk or loss. Think about insurance. Warranties, they address fear. Urgency tactics in sales sometimes play on fear of missing out.
Okay. Surprise.
Surprise, like amazement or awe. This can create really memorable experiences, make you stand out. Unexpected rewards, innovative features that delight customers, they tap into surprise.
And sadness. That seems counterintuitive for business.
Well, sadness, empathy, loneliness, it can drive a desire for connection or comfort. Emotional storytelling that evokes empathy can be very powerful. Products or services that offer comfort or fulfillment might appeal to this.
What about anger, frustration, indignation?
Anger can be tricky, but Ralph suggests it can motivate action, especially if people feel empowered to change something. Think about addressing customer frustrations head-on, or brands that support causes people feel strongly, maybe angrily about.
Well, disgust, aversion.
Disgust usually deters people, obviously, but sometimes highlighting an unpleasant problem that your product solves, think cleaning products, for example, leverages a mild sense of disgust to motivate a purchase.
So how can AEC professionals actually use this understanding of emotions?
Ralph gives some practical strategies. In sales and marketing, focus on creating positive emotional experiences, maybe highlighting the excitement or relief that digital solutions like BIM can bring.
For branding.
Build trust by aligning your messaging with values your audience cares about emotionally, like sustainability or innovation.
In customer relation.
Address negative emotions like fear or frustration with real transparency and empathy. Don't dismiss them.
Storytelling seems key too.
Definitely. Using narratives that evoke empathy, excitement, or maybe a sense of security. The core idea is that understanding and ethically leveraging this emotional layer can build much stronger connections, inspire trust, and create memorable experiences that drive growth.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, that brings us to our final article for this week, number 7. It's a summary by Russ Monrose, wrapping up week 3.
Right. Russ essentially pulls together the key threads from this week's focus on branding. He reiterates just how essential building that strong personal or company brand is in AEC.
It's about establishing your identity, your credibility, showing your value.
Exactly. In what can be a really crowded market. He recaps the benefits we've discussed: enhanced visibility, attracting better opportunities and clients.
Fostering trust, gaining recognition, even inspiring your own team.
All of that.
Yeah.
And he makes a really crucial point. He encourages everyone listening to take a step back.
And look at their brand from the outside in, from the target market's perspective.
Yes, because how you think you're perceived might be quite different from the reality. That's a critical self-assessment.
That's a great point. Perception is reality for the client.
It really is. Russ also loops back to Natasha Prinsloo's article on brand voice, reminding us how important that unique voice is for differentiation and making a positive impact. finding that balance between business and personality.
And he connects it to Ralph Montague's insights on emotion, too.
He does. He highlights that understanding and leveraging emotions adds that vital human element to your personal branding, making connections more genuine.
So he leaves us with some questions to think about.
Yeah, some real food for thought. Like,
Yeah.
how might you rebrand, maybe subtly, maybe significantly, to develop your business further? And, has this learning program inspired you so far? What ideas has it sparked?
Really good questions to mull over as we finish up this deep dive on branding.
Definitely. It's clear that building an effective brand is it's multifaceted. It needs that audience understanding, the clear value proposition, the consistent voice, and even that emotional intelligence.
We look forward to the next edition in this key learning program.